Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer. In this video, it's all about covers. My favourite covers for books I've read from October, November and December. So each 3 months, I go through book covers for books I've read during those 3 months only and select my favourite covers. Then for the whole year, I'll have a final video where I select my top 3 covers. And for the 3-month sections, so each quarter of the year, I choose 2 covers for that video and choose the 3 from those 8 covers. So anyway, in this video, my favourite covers from October, November and December. Let's start now. The first cover is Cycle of the Werewolf, written by Stephen King. Now, I like this cover a lot. It's very detailed, very artistic. It's also very scary and sinister. I mean, you've got werewolves breaking into a church on the cover. And then you have kind of a light reflecting on some werewolves, turning them red and orange and yellow, all different colours. And that feels like fire as well, feels like sinister fire, something evil. And then there's shadows on the walls of those wolves as well, also feels evil. So the whole cover just feels sinister and evil. Even though it's vibrant and colourful, there's a lot of detail in there as well. It's very eye-catching. You can't help but notice just how sinister it feels. It suits the story. It tells you what the story's about, of course, as the title does anyway, Cycle of the Werewolf. And I like the title is very clear to read. So I think in some covers, the title isn't clear. And I think, what's the point of that? Why do some covers have titles where you have to kind of double check yourself? You have to read it a few times to work out what the title's saying. I think covers where the font is easy to read, a simple font, large enough to read as well very quickly, they work best. You don't want to sit in front of a cover in a bookstore or a library, wherever, and try to work out what the title is, what it's about. Why would you want to do that? Because people shop with their eyes. So a cover like this that's colourful, vibrant, on the cover it tells you what the book's about, the title's very clear to read, it's perfect. Apples Never Fall, written by Liane Moriarty. Again, a simple cover. Some people might say it's too simple. I don't think so. It's a white background with a tree. And you think they're apples falling down on the ground around the tree. They're tennis balls. So you start to wonder, why is that? Why do we have apples in the tree, an apple tree, then have tennis balls on the ground? When you read the book, you find out why. But anyway, I'm drawn to this cover because it's so simple. You have a tree on a white background. It's so fresh, it's so clean. With a tree, you think, well, what does that mean as well? Is it like a family tree? Is it a tree in a backyard? Why is a tree significant? So I think that plays on your mind as well when you see the cover. But the only negative on this cover I have is with the title. And the title is in the green background of the tree, so you can pick it out, but it just blends too easily, I think, with the white background. So I think that title cover should have been a different colour or a bigger font or something to make it stand out more. But other than that, I think this cover is very clever, very eye-catching, and it works. The Treasure Hunters Club, written by Tom Ryan. I like this cover a lot. Despite red not being my favourite colour, it's used well on this cover. I like the shade of blue. That shade of blue reminds me of sky or water, something like that. I like the layout of the design, the whole design. The title is very easy to read. It's big. I like the font. I like the symbols on the cover as well. You've got a map, a treasure chest, all things in there that tell you it's about treasure and adventure and things like that. And the clues on a map, treasure hunting, like the title tells you it is. The cover tells you that as well. A great layout, a great idea for a cover as well. And that blue on the edges, it's very intricate. When you look at it, it looks like different things. When you think sky, well, I do anyway, then the shape of it, the shape of all those lines look like water as well. And you think, well, is water playing into this? And you think treasure hunt, water, it should be. So all the things on this cover make sense. A great colour choice. Again, red not my favourite colour, but it works well on this book cover. The Christmas Eve Murders, written by Noelle Albright. So another cover that's red and not my favourite colour at all, but it works on this book. Because red, I mean, it matches Christmas, doesn't it? And I like the colour choices on this cover. So despite the red, I like the other colours a lot. They're simple, they work well together, and your eye's focused on that house. That house, or whatever it is, that building on the cover, your eye's drawn to that. And it's dark, it's in shadow, so why is it black? You start wondering, well, I do anyway when I look at the cover. Why is that house, that building, in black? And then inside, those windows and the doorway are lit. And you see little people in the doorway and the windows as well. So you start to wonder. Are people in that building? Is that building the central focus of the book? What's going on there? Is something sinister inside or outside? You're drawn to that building, so you're wondering, that building must be a central focus of the story. So I like the way that's done. The way the layout is draws your eye to that building straight away. The title's easy to read, a good font choice. Everything about this cover works. It feels simple, but it's really not, I don't think, because the layout is designed very cleverly to draw your eye directly to that building. Death at the Vineyard, written by Amelia Hall. I like the whole layout and feel of this cover. With cozy mysteries, I tend to prefer cozy feeling covers, that imagery where it's cozy and nice and comfortable. And this is a cozy mystery, but it's not nice and comfortable on the cover. It's more sinister. It feels gothic in a way. It also feels like a piece of art, like a movie poster for an old movie. That's what I get when I look at this cover. I get a feeling of one of those old-time movies with a detective, like a hard-boiled detective trying to hunt down a killer or something. Something maybe Alfred Hitchcock-like. That's what this cover reminds me of. I like how your eye is drawn to that image of the figure in the background. And those footprints leading up to that figure. And you start to wonder, is that figure a killer or is that figure a victim? I wondered that anyway when I looked at this cover because of those footprints. Then that crow in the foreground is very ominous, very spooky, and reminds me of gothic things as well. This cover works very well, I think. It's eye-catching. It makes you wonder, this is a cozy mystery, but what sort of cozy mystery? What kind of mystery is giving us this cover, because it doesn't feel cozy or comfortable or gentle or nice. It feels sinister, it feels a bit grim, it feels gothic. A Holiday Homicide, written by Ali Alexander. I like this cover a lot. It's very festive. Of course, it's a festive story. And the colour choices are good. The imagery is good. I like the artwork. I like how your eye is drawn to the building at the front with the gifts and the cats. And I just like the whole feel, the cozy feel in this setting as well. It's a cozy mystery, of course, and this cover is just comfortable and cozy and gentle and nice. And this series is about a small town as well, and this cover gives you a slight small town feel, but I do like the cover choice. And I like the way it's laid out. I like they've got a festive feel to it, the snow, the gifts, all that kind of thing in this cover works very well. There you have my favourite covers for books I read during October, November and December. I wonder, what's your favourite cover from this video? Do you have a favourite in this video? Let me know. From books you read during the 3 months I mentioned in this video, what are your favourite covers? Let me know as well. Share your favourite covers with me. On my channel I review books from all different genres. Check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to the video for a book I'm sure you'll enjoy.